Hey everybody, Von here with the Vonster vlog, and we are doing some yoga today. And today is the first day, actually, that we will be phasing out one of our poses and bringing in a new one. So I'm kind of capping it at 10 poses a day. We might go a little bit over, we might add in some weird stuff. Hey chickens, good morning. How are you doing today? Did you have a hard night being a bird? Sounds about right. So let's go ahead and get started in tree pose. So I'm out here under my favorite redbud tree, just hanging out. We're gonna ground through our feet and start to wake up a little bit by kind of shifting our weight from one side to the other. I'm spreading my toes. I do love just really, I have to wear shoes way more than what I would like. Would you stay in the yard, please? Good gravy. I have to wear shoes way more than I like. So I like to take every and any opportunity that I can to get out of my shoes and get my toes wiggling and stretching and squeezing and exercising. Kind of bending our knees a little bit, maybe. Oh yeah, wiggle our hips out. Just stretching. All right, everybody's evacuating the backyard apparently. And then coming up to not locked knees, but engaged straight legs. Like there's a difference. And I think as you explore, like everybody go ahead and lock your knees for a sec. Do you feel like how that feels? Now unlock them, bend them just a little bit, and then come back up to, you're not crouching, but your knees are still engaged. So like you can shift your weight from side to side. You can go forward and back. Whereas if you try shifting your weight side to side with your knees locked, I don't know, it's just a lot less. I have a much harder time maintaining my balance when I'm leaning forward and back. But so kind of experiment and feel with your own body how that feels for you and find what's comfortable for you, and then we'll be there. Inhaling, let's put our roots down through our right foot. So grounding through not just the ball of my foot, but my heel also, both sides of it. Kind of the inner side and the outer side. Bringing my toe to the mat. And now I'm going to open my leg outward, still kind of touching my toe to the mat and my heel to my calf. I'm just going to start here today. And then if you're comfortable there, you can bring the sole of your foot up to your calf. Again, I'm focusing on once you've got being balanced, I'm not going to say down because it's different for me every day. Once you're kind of steady-ish there, you can start focusing on engaging your glutes, bringing that leg open, zipping up through your core, like being nice and engaged. And your breath, there's a lot so it's something that as simple as just standing on your own feet, we can make very, very complicated and make it very challenging. But, you know, challenges are meant to be risen to. I don't think I have enough room over my head to go full tree. I don't know, let's go full tree. I got room. Oh, I'm touching tree though. Ooh. Go ahead and show your foot some love. Always honor if you feel something getting painful or twingy or just a little too far past where your comfort zone is. Like the idea for me with yoga is I don't want to stay within my comfort zone. I want to be right on the inner edge of it. So I'm still comfortable, but ooh, I can push just a little bit and be like, oh, okay. Because if we keep pushing that boundary very gently so that we're not damaging or pushing ourselves past, you know, what's good for us, then we can slowly start to grow that comfort zone. And it's a slow but very sustainable way. So I'm going to keep stretching the top of my foot. There we go. Placing that down. Okay, so now we'll do the same thing, pardon me, through my left foot. I'm finding a spot that doesn't have any rocks or anything in it. I'd love it if I actually had like a flat piece of yard, but I used all that up for gardening. Center yourself physically and mentally with your breath. And so I'm coming, bringing my toe to the mat, my heel to my calf, and turning outward. Bringing my sole of my foot up to my calf. Yeah, I'm not quite there yet today. That's okay. So just being here. Taking inhales and then breathing in a little bit more and then slowly releasing. Even just standing there like that got me what feels like really pushed the boundary of what my strength is capable of in my left foot. So from there, we will move into forward fold. If, like me, you are on an unlevel surface, I always like to work uphill. I feel less like I'm going to tip head over feet and roll down. So that's just me, though. Deep breath, and without locking your knees, fold forward. You can sort of rock forward and back. I'm very stiff today. We went for about a half-mile walk last night. It was pretty nice. Excuse you, girls. I don't know if you can hear the chickens having their morning tussles. I didn't bring any blocks out with me today, but be sure to use blocks if and when you feel like, not just that it's necessary, but even if it's mildly beneficial and you have a block, use it. And I highly recommend moving with your breath. So whenever I inhale, I actually come out of the stretch a little bit, and then whenever I exhale, I like to deepen down. So from here, we are going to walk our hands forward into cat-cow. I have a little sticky note. Oh, actually, I lied. We're going to back it back up into forward bend. And we are going to squat down into Garland pose. Now this is it from the side. Excuse me. Excuse me, trying to not sneeze in the microphone. Please pardon me. So we're coming up here, and I have my feet about as wide as the mat, but we could go a little bit wider. And the goal eventually is to like make contact with the full foot to the ground for me. Again, that's my goals. Our goals may not align, but that doesn't mean we can't walk the same path together, or even just parallel paths. Would y'all leave Poppy alone, please? And so from here, stretching down and in, my mat isn't quite wide enough for me to be where I want to be. So I'm going to come here. You can see I've got my feet quite wide. There we go. Sometimes all you need is just that extra inch. You could also brace yourself on a stack of blocks here. Why are they picking on you today, Poppy? It is very eventful here this morning. There's like construction noises going on and chickens running amok. Be very mindful of your knees in this position. So I like to just give it a wiggle and then settle in. You can brace your elbows on your knees, but I find that makes me very hunched. So I actually like to just rise up out of it if I can, or just be hunched. Working on balance and trying to find a place of ease and breath. Then I bring my fingertips to the ground, ease up and out of it, angle my toes back forward again. I find that to be a very nice counter pose to forward bend. Poppy, what you doing up there? I don't know if y'all can see her, but she is propped up on the bird bath, scowling at the world. I know. I'd be upset too, baby girl. What a beautiful, humid day. That's all right. I like to get outside at least a little bit every day, even if it's kind of miserable outside, just because it makes being in modern air conditioning so nice. I say modern, but we've just got some like window units from the 90s, but that's fine. Modern enough, right? So I'm actually going to give my wrists a little bit of a break. I'm just going to sit here for a sec. This is easy pose. This isn't our new pose for the day. It's just where I'm at for a second to center and ground myself. You could be here, you could be in child's pose, just wherever you like. Okay. Let's get our wrists warmed up for cat-cow. And I'd actually had a request. Oh, I'd meant to write down the screen name of the person who asked this, but it was requested that I start adding in belly dance moves in with my yoga practice. And I think that's a fantastic idea because yoga and dance go hand in hand very well. Whether it's belly dance or salsa or, I don't know, tap maybe. That'd be an interesting combo to see. But just so much of dance to me is connecting breath and movement and expressing thought through movement and, you know, just movement. And a lot of that for yoga is for me as well. Body awareness and movement and breath and balancing your thoughts and actions. So we're going to start with little teacups, is what I call these. It's like if you had a dish rag or a sponge and you're wiping out the inside of a cup or bowl. Now you can have them go inward where they're traveling inwards, or you can have them going outwards where it's kind of like a hello. I actually like to pair them together, and I like to lead with my pinky. I used to lead with my middle finger, but I get more into my wrists when I lead with my pinkies and turn that teacup into a figure 8. And you can hold your arms anywhere that you like, but I do recommend doing this, changing your arm position and changing your hand orientation. I don't know what they're doing across the street. And you can do practice just little hand waves where your hands are just undulating. You can practice in the opposite direction. Where you're leading with your first finger. And this really, I can feel it up into my forearms and everything. I can stretch. And stretch, remembering to breathe the whole time. I'm so bad about that. And so I'm constantly checking in with myself. There we are. I think we're ready to move into cat-cow. I'm going to put my Fitbit back on. This thing's so wide, it's like a cuff bracelet. So it does kind of get into the way of my my wrist mobility sometimes. But I just loosen it up and move it up. So let's come onto our hands and knees into cat-cow. And from here, you could be on a block, you could be sitting with your hands on your knees, you could be standing with your hands against a wall. You'd have your hands into fists, like how I do here. Inhale. Oh yeah, I'm so tight through my lower back today, you guys. down to fists. And you don't have to have your wrists directly under your shoulders. You can have them a little farther forward. And just listen to your intuition and honor your body about what's working for you. Inhale and exhale. I love getting to just see bugs like fly around. Like, we have a terrible blight of cabbage moths, but I cannot stop being happy every time I see a little yellowy or whitish green butterfly or moth just fluttering around. So coming up into cow, radiating our chest open and forward, and then tucking with our tailbone first, and then rolling up through our spine, pushing away with our arms, grounding through our knees and our feet. Finding depth and peace in our breath as we move. Okay, nutmeg. There we go. And now we're actually going to come up into plank. So I'm bringing my toes back. And I'm just going to try to be here for like 3 breaths. There's one. Now you could stay on your knees for this. You could be planking against a wall or leaned against a countertop. So I think that was 4, because I talked through one of my breaths. Oh, my arms are shaking. Okay, there we go. Just releasing for a sec, because my goal is to work up to where I can do plank for 3 to 5 breaths and then transition into downward facing dog without having to take a break. But that's my ego. Let's just focus on what we're doing today. Not, observe it, but not with judgment. Hey, Pepper. What's up, girl? Yeah. Okay. Back into plank for just a brief moment while we transition into down dog. And I do apologize, my allergies are acting up. So you're probably going to hear me huffle, snuffle, and panting for breath, but, well, that's yoga for me today. So coming into plank. Inhale, and on their exhale, shifting into downward facing dog. I am going to bring my toes in just a little closer. Oh yeah, that's good. Making sure that we aren't clenching up on our neck, that we aren't bunching our shoulders up by our ears. We can walk our knees out. Bring our toes closer or farther away, just whatever we need. And now from here, we'll come into cobra. So we're going to come back down into plank, lower our knees, lower our chest, and raising with our muscles, not our hands, bringing ourselves up, and then pushing up into that back bend. Lowering down. Inhaling, lifting with just my back muscles, and then coming back up. Oh, I can stretch our neck a bit. And now from here, we will actually be coming into lizard pose. So I'm going to push up and back. I'm going to sit on my heels for just a moment, get some peace through my wrists. Oh my gosh, can y'all hear those cicadas? I hope you can hear me over the cicadas, honestly. I'm still figuring out this microphone. I don't know how sensitive it is to like what range. So I currently don't know if you guys can hear the construction equipment going on over yonder. Okay, so from here, I'm going to come up onto my knees. We could be in a hand and knee position, but this makes more space for the movement. And then leaning over into my left knee, bringing my foot forward. And so from there, I can now take my hands, plant them on the inside of my foot, and then raise my back knee. And radiating forward really deepens this stretch. And I think this is just where I'm going to be today. Just kind of, or we could lower our knee and lower our elbows. Ooh, but that's a little deeper than what I'm looking for today. Ooh, sliding back and coming back to sitting on my heels. So I'm going to come back up to my knees now. Leaning into my right knee. I love having these crash mats underneath my yoga mat, by the way, especially for when I'm outside. Keeps my yoga mat clean, but it also provides that extra bit of cushion. Bringing our left foot forward. Ooh, gave myself a bit of yoga mat burn on the tops of my toes. So now I'm going to place my hands on the inside of my foot, plant my toes, straighten my leg, radiate forward. Well, hey, Nutmeg, you looking rough, girl. I think you're molting. We could lower our back knee. There is like a bug on my leg. Okay, and then from here, we can actually just shift over into Cobbler's pose. I am like so sweaty. I hear you, cicadas. So here we are in Cobbler's pose. I had a comment about one of my shoulders being higher than the other, and that was bringing my attention to alignment. I'm not really aware of if I have like any alignment things going on, but if you do, rolling your shoulders and kind of squeezing within the realm of like, you know, what you're capable of and what's good for you. Always, always, always listen to your body first. So I'm squeezing up and then squeezing down in the other direction, using my lat muscles to just pull my shoulders down away from my neck. Now, it's not helping that right now I'm sitting on unlevel ground. So if this side's looking higher than the other one, it's because this butt cheek's about an inch or two higher than the other one is. But so maybe in a flat chair or something. And you can even, if you have like a mirror on you, you can be doing this in the mirror and, you know, paying attention and focusing on, because oftentimes it's how our muscles are holding our body up. So if you're stronger on one side and weaker on another, or if you've got like a weakness in your lower back or a weakness in your core, sometimes your other muscles will over activate to try to counterbalance that. So you may get a lot of tightness where, you know, maybe this is I call it my grinding arm, because whenever I'm doing calves with what we do over on our main channel, This is the arm that I'm constantly like pushing and like have up. So this side might be tighter than this side. So just paying attention to your alignment and seeing, you know, kind of where things are moving, how they're moving, just observing without judgment, just seeing like how something is before deciding how it should be. Because if you can figure out how something is and why that's happening, then you'll be able to address what's causing it, not just the symptom. So I hope that that's helpful. I hope that that made any sense whatsoever. So we're going to come back now into cobbler's pose, and I'm going to pull my heels in just a little closer. The closer I pull my heels in, the more my legs want to come up. So I'm actually going to focus on pulling with my outer thighs, my knees down towards the ground. And that way I can hold on to my ankles. I was about to say wrists, but my foot wrists. And I am growing through my spine, just radiating up and out. Nice deep breaths as we listen to the relaxing backhoe noises in the background. Inhale and exhaling. Oh yeah, time to wring out that sponge. Oh, my lower back. I don't know how I am so sore today. I got some solid good sleep last night though, y'all. I woke up actually feeling like refreshed and rejuvenated, and I was like, that was nice. Is this what sleeping's like? And I'm going to, without hunching over, staying nice and big in my belly breath, breathing all the way down into my belly. I am touching the ground, but radiating up and out as we get that bend. You could have your hands on a chair in front of you or on blocks. And so from here, we are going to move into our wide-legged side bend. And I just use my mat as reference. I kind of have my butt hanging off the back edge, and I've got my feet there on the front edge. This is a little bit wider, I think, than where I was the other day, but that's okay. Some days I may need to be right here, and that's fine. And we can alternate between flexed feet and pointed feet, just whichever is comfortable for you. Some days I'll do one, some days I'll do the other, some days I'll do both. And moving with our breath, I am just running my fingertips up and down my shins as I lean into and then come back up out of this stretch. Oh, that's such a nice breeze. And then when we feel ready, we can hold on to our ankle or our shin or our thigh and just lift. And I don't want to be just bending this way, even though I feel like that constricts my diaphragm so I can't breathe as deeply. I do get a stretch across my back, but that's not what I'm looking for today. Oh, I don't know, it might be. I'm looking for radiating up and out. I want to stretch this side right here. And sometimes it helps me to put my arm and brace against my leg. I mean, we don't want to be wrenching ourselves into that position, but support where you feel like you need support. And radiating up and out through our chest. I actually like to look past my arm up into the tree canopy. And from here we can come back down and kind of shift a little bit more, and then come to the other side. Now, as I stretch, I am making sure to stay grounded through my rump, through the backs of my thighs, backs of my knees, backs of my calves, and my heels. That way I'm not pulling up. If your leg is being pulled up with your stretch, try a gentler stretch. Or quite possibly even just bending one leg. that can change things up a little bit more. And if this wide-legged position just is not for you, you can try this from cobbler's pose or even from seated in a chair. If I were in a chair, I would have my feet set wide and put my hand on my inner thigh and stretch up that way. That's actually a pretty good stretch, just sitting here like that. I'm also like sick tight through my abs. Like, oh my gosh, it's borderline immobile sometimes. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so like it's tense, which is why we wring out our sponge. Oh my gosh, even after the side bend, let's revisit cobbler one more time and see if you're experiencing, like, my hips feel way more open, my sides feel open. And so, I mean, it's counterintuitive to think, oh, I'll stretch my obliques to loosen up my hips. But sometimes the tightness from one muscle group can transfer over into the next. Like, stretching my hamstrings really helps me open up and loosen and relieve tension in my lower back. Because if my hams are tight, my glutes get tight, my back gets tight. But that's just me. Oh, I do love, okay, I'm hunching a little bit here, but I'm like stretching my like rumpus. I don't even know what part that is, but give it a good double dad smack. Just, oh yeah, you could fit a lot in that trunk. So I don't know why I talk. I apologize. Because even though I'm slouching over, I'm still supporting through my hands. I still have my core and my everything engaged, so I could let go and I'm still like here. I'm not like, supine. I'm not like relaxed into it. Oof, I really like that, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for day 11. Y'all, where was that? There's a bird. Another bird. We're like 3 ways away from doing this for 2 weeks. That's amazing. Like, I am pretty excited about that. Hey, Nutmeg. Oh, you're a pretty girl. What you doing? You are molting. Oh, I love you anyways, you ragamuffin. Get out of here. You gonna come bite my toes as vengeance. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. We are still currently, this is like tomorrow's the last day to get pre-orders in for your super durable t-shirts or tank tops or other style of t-shirt and tank tops. Like, we've got a couple of different things and a couple of different color schemes for y'all to choose from over with our friends worldofstrange.com. There will be links for this limited run edition t-shirt down in the video description, as well as for my yoga mat, because this is, I don't know if y'all saw today during Down Facing Dog, but my hands did not slip a bit, and I am like slick with sweat. With wet sweat. Oof. Alrighty, but yeah, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to hear from you guys in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see in future yoga sessions, because we've got a bunch more ahead of us in this year of yoga. So thank you guys again so much for hanging out, and until next time, keep on keeping on. Bye.